Okay, if I plug in 3, or negative 3, that will make that to be 0. I cannot just plug it in. So we'll work with factoring. All right, so this is equal to the limit as x approaches negative 3. And that will factor. The numerator and the denominator actually factor. This will be x plus 3, x minus 3. That will factor as x plus 3, x plus 1. Now, because these two terms actually cancel out, that actually tells us that our graph has a hole at that point. That's why we can't evaluate at that point, but we are approaching a value at that point. Okay, so if we eliminate those two, limit as x approaches negative 3 of x plus 1 over x minus 3. Now at this point we can evaluate. It's going to be the same limit. It's a different function, but it is the same limit. All right, so that would be negative 2 over negative 6, so that would be 1/3. All right, let's work the same trick over here. Because if you evaluate at 1, it's actually 0 divided by 0, so that really does not work. So that will be x plus 1, x minus 1 over x minus 1. That reduces down. Again, we have a hole in our graph. As x approaches 1 of x plus 1, which will be a limit of 2. Again, that tells we have a hole. All right, so factoring is one trick we can sort of pull. The next is multiplying by the conjugate. All right. So examine plugging in 5. That's always a good choice. Okay, try plugging in if you can. Well, the numerator would be square root of 4. 2 minus 2, that's 0 over 0. We cannot plug in 5. So we are going to multiply by the square root of x minus 1 plus 2 over the square root of x minus 1 plus 2. Okay, we are not changing the function itself. We are multiplying by 1. Okay, so we're getting this in a different form. So that would be x minus 1. The square roots would cancel. The outside and the inside terms cancel, so we get minus 4. Right, we get minus 4 there. And we have x minus 5, square root of x minus 1, plus 2. Now if you notice, the numerator is actually x minus 5. So that reduces down. As x approaches 5 of 1 over the square root of x minus 1 plus 2. Plugging in the 5 now, that would be 1/4. Now I want to point out really quickly, this right here, we actually did not multiply by 0, because by plugging 5 in here, that's actually a value of 4 over 4, if you think about evaluating that. Okay, so that doesn't break any algebraic rules. We're just writing that expression in a different form, because there is some sort of hole or strange behavior happening there. Okay, part B, multiply by our conjugate again, so this will be square root of x plus 2 plus 1. Notice we're using the opposite sign, the middle sign. So we have a minus 2, we'll use a plus 2. Minus 1, we'll use a plus 1. If it had been plus 1, we use a minus 1. X plus 2 plus 1. Okay. And I should have checked to begin with. If I plug negative 1 in there, we're dividing by 0. So I just automatically assumed we were making a mistake there, but that's what we need to do. So multiplying that, we get x plus 2 minus 1 over x plus 1 square root of x plus 2 plus 1. Okay, our numerator there is x plus 1. So that will cancel. That will be the limit as x approaches negative 1 of 1 over square root of x plus 2 plus 1. And that limit, if we evaluate that at -1, will be 1/2. And there's our limit.